Hello, hello, hello.
Hi.
You're listening to Midnight Movie Gang, a show where we talk about cult cinema, genre cinema, horror, sci-fi, the kind of, the lesser known type movies.
Movies that are bombing.
Movies that no one's fucking seen. I guess today. This is the first new movie you talked about in a while. Opening weekend was this past weekend. Today we are primarily going to be talking about Furiosa, a Mad Max saga.
Yeah, we just got back from the theater.
We just got back. We saw it in Cinemark XD.
We saw it at the Cinemark.
It was
down there to the Cinemark.
It was big, pretty empty theater. There weren't that many people, although it was a matinee on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
But
there was one man.
Indeed. But I mean, a bunch of my friends, actually on Discord, a bunch of my movie nerd friends, we're all chatting about this past weekend. A lot of them went and saw it like at the premiere times, Saturday night,
cool.
Memorial Day.
Fighting the good fight.
Yeah, and all of them were like, yeah, fucking no one was in the theaters.
That's so sad.
It's very sad.
Why is there no demand for this? It was so good.
I've got a lot of theories.
I had a demand for it.
We'll definitely get into it. But first, a word from our sponsor. We don't just want to talk about what we're drinking, even though we don't have tea. I was saying that we started this podcast in the winter, so the hot tea was like a good cozy vibe.
Yeah, we'll get back to it.
Yeah, we'll get back to it for sure. But it's hot now. Well, today is actually pretty nice, but
yeah,
it's summertime pretty much.
Not feeling the hot drinks right now.
Yeah, so
the sun's out.
I'm drinking.
It's not midnight.
I'm drinking some H2O.
Yeah, he gets water because we're at my place,
Yeah.
so he only gets water, you know.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not worthy of anything else.
Yeah, he asked for tea, but I was like, who do you think you are?
No, the Aqua Cola.
I'm drinking water as well, but it's got like...
I was going to say, I don't look like water.
No, it's got like Kroger brand, I don't know, like energy.
Oh, like the vitamin mix type deal, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a cup of coffee when I'm too lazy to make coffee.
That makes sense. Oh, yeah, that is something important to note that we're people at home. Usually we record at my place. And this is the first time ever that this podcast has been recorded not at my place.
Welcome to the jungle.
Yeah, we're at Joseph's place. My apartment's kind of a mess right now.
Nightmare hellscape of my home.
Yeah, because Courtney and I have just been really busy with work and school stuff, and our apartment's kind of in a state of disarray. And I thought this would be a nice little change of pace. I'm comfy.
Yeah, I've got a theater right here.
Yeah, I like this couch. Joseph's got this big ass TV.
My ass TV.
Which we have gameplay of the Mad Max video game.
Yeah,
going.
We do. Both of our eyes are glued to the screen watching gameplay of the Mad Max game.
Yeah, which
as it's installing on my console right now.
Which I will be buying. As soon as it goes. I'm sure we'll
spend some time talking about the game too. I think.
When did it go on sale on PlayStation
I don't know.
Store?
I think it's just currently on like the current sale that they have going on right now.
Okay, I was about to say if they specifically went on sale with this movie, that's a good little promotional.
I wouldn't doubt that that's like part
right
of
there.
Why it's on the list of things that are on sale right now.
I'm sure there's definitely a little spike.
Yeah.
In the sales.
Yeah. No, it's underrated, but we'll talk about it.
Basically first thing I want to ask you, Joseph, is we actually talking about it a little bit before. I want to talk a little bit about what's your history with the Mad Max franchise, with Fury Road.
I've actually got a pretty funny story. My mom was like, hey, have you never, like, because I watched a lot of movies with my mom growing up, weirdly enough.
Mm-hmm.
And she...
so did I.
Yeah. She was like, have you ever seen Mad Max? We'll watch Mad Max. And she pulled out the VHS of Mad Max.
Of the first Mad Max?
Yeah.
The original?
Yeah. And she put it on, and then about 10 minutes in, she was like, no, you're not old enough to watch this. So we watched something else. And that was my experience with Mad Max. And I saw Fury Road when it came out. And I saw this when it came out. And I played the game in between. And I also saw Happy Feet. Which is a prequel to this.
Yes. George Miller's Happy Feet.
Happy Feet is my favorite animated movie.
What a weird...
And that's period.
What a weird director, really.
Yes. I'm beginning to think that I actually fucking love George Miller. Mm-hmm. I don't think there's anyone quite like him.
Yeah, he is a really unique filmmaker. And something that you can definitely say about Furiosa and Fury Road is that how old is George? Well, first off, how old is George Miller?
He's old.
He is 79.
Yeah, dude is fucking old. I cannot believe a 79-year-old man made the movie we just saw.
Yeah, made Furiosa.
That is insane.
It definitely feels like it's like a.
It's so energetic.
It's so energetic. It's
Smart
so stylized.
yeah.
It's modern.
Yes, it's
Like,
extremely modern. It's like it's better than modern.
Yeah, no, it's everything. How do I put it? I'm still processing how I felt about the movie overall, but I will say this. This is the peak of what modern filmmaking has to offer. Really.
Yeah, and that's what Fury Road was.
Yeah, same.
Fury Road was like
10
such
years
like
ago.
a dead zone of like action movies all being the same, and then Fury Road comes. I'm just saying on it, and like Red Letter Media said this too when it came out. It's like George Miller's just like looking around at all the other directors making action movies and be like, "This is how you do it, guys." And I feel like he's doing it again, but no one's watching it.
Yeah, no one's showing up for old Furiosa.
Did Fury Road do well when it came out?
Fury Road was, I don't think it was considered a flop, but it did underperform. It didn't underperform like Furiosa is.
It's such a bummer.
But it definitely.
I hope it does better.
One second, I'm on the Mad Max Fury Road Wikipedia page. So, Fury Road grossed 154 million in the United States and Canada, 226 million in other countries.
What was the budget?
Yeah, so a production budget of 154 to about 185 million, and total worldwide gross was 380 million.
So it did not make its money back.
No. So like
in general, you're gonna want to like double the budget for marketing.
A little less than double of its reported budget. But then
Which is surprising it even got a sequel, but it's definitely a cult classic.
So I'm looking at one second. I'm just looking at in United States and Canada the film was released. It was released the same weekend as Pitch Perfect 2. Pitch Perfect 2
basically the same movie.
Yeah, so okay, here we go. The film grossed for this is what I really wanted to know. Its opening weekend it was $45.4 million. And Furiosa right now, according to... Okay, so I guess it's about the same that thus far.
Man, good for George Miller just making movies because he wants to. I bet he doesn't even give a shit that this is flopping.
I mean, I think he does.
He's going to die in like 2 days anyway.
Apparently he had to really fight for this movie to get made.
Thank God.
And like there were a lot of people at Warner Brothers not happy with the financial performance of Fury Road. But so this says... I don't know if Wikipedia here has it adjusted for inflation, this 45 million, but it seems like in Furiosa made thus far, according to Wikipedia, has made $67.8 million on a $168 million budget, which so that's pretty bad.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Man.
And here's the thing, it's especially because it was Memorial Day weekend too. So it's like you had an extra Saturday.
Yeah, no, this is like prime movie dumping hours.
Prime movie time, and like really everything going for it. Because even though, like, Fury Road is definitely like a cult classic by all means. Like it's a movie that like has become loved and like cherished. By, like,
absolutely. It's like Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah, it got nominated for a bunch of. It got nominated for Best Picture. The year it came
and it
out.
bombed.
And
I hate it.
And yeah, no, so like...
And he releases this post-COVID.
Yeah, no, and it's like all the hype was here for Furiosa, including like Anya Taylor-Joy is definitely an actress that people like very much look out for.
Yeah, she's not given much here, but yeah.
Oh, really? It's interesting to say that. We'll get into that when we talk about the movie.
Yeah.
But you know, like I think this is a good vehicle for her. It's a good franchise for her.
Yeah.
I think that, people love this franchise. It's just like it just as reforming, and I think, and here's the thing, it's not like I think there are a lot of reasons why like movies and theaters are underperforming.
Yeah,
like people aren't going to the screens, and I think that this one of the biggest ones is the fact that the quality of films is lacking.
Yeah,
definitely.
I think COVID made people realize, I think movie theaters already felt like an outdated concept to a lot of people before COVID,
mm-hmm.
and then after that, it was like like I just saw Planet of the Apes or Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
Had like one of the worst theater experiences I've ever had. I don't blame anybody for never wanting to go to a theater again.
Yeah, no, that's totally fair.
It sucks.
Me and Courtney have had a lot of bad theatrical experiences.
Like it's a
lately.
crapshoot. Like it feels like people just have forgotten what to do. Like people will be on their phones the whole time. People will be talking full volume. And I think that's always been something that people do, but I feel like it's just so much worse now.
Oh no, it's definitely gotten worse.
Yeah.
It's a thing where it's like 1 second. Oh, the reason I had brought up like the quality of movies is that people like one, it's that if people don't think a movie is going to be like super great, if it doesn't have like an established audience, or if it's not something to go to, they're just going to watch it at home.
Yes.
Like I said with like I think we talked about it, but like
that's what you did with Civil War.
Yeah, honestly, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Civil War actually might not be a good example for me because the main reason I didn't go see Civil War in the theaters is because it was a little bit too real for me.
Okay.
Like it seemed like it was going to be contextually like, oh, it's reflecting the state of our country, and like I was just uncomfortable with that.
Yeah.
But no, like I'm trying to think of an example of like something like a big one. Is something like Saltburn, where like I know you weren't the hugest fan of it, but like I saw it in theaters.
Yeah, and I didn't even know it went to theaters until you told me.
Yeah, no, it came out in theaters. Me and Courtney saw it in theaters, loved it, and then a few months later, it was on Amazon Prime, and then everyone was talking about it. You know,
it's insane. I thought it was an Amazon original.
No, it's it was in theaters first, and no one saw it. And I think that sorry. And yeah, I think that I think the only way to truly have a successful theatrical release at this point is, this might be a stupid answer, you got to make it viral. Barbieheimer was a movement.
I don't think that you can manufacture that though.
Yeah, no, it's
like remember it's Morbin time.
It's Morbin time. It's got to be a meme.
Remember Morbius? Because that was a meme.
Yeah.
And they brought it back into theaters and spent all that money, and no one saw it a second time.
Exactly.
That will never not make me laugh.
It got the hype going.
Fuck you, Sony.
Yeah. I mean, it's a thing where it's like, yeah, you got to make it into a meme. You got to make like. Because here's the thing, because people,
you'll see people talking about a movie online a lot, and that gets a lot of buzz.
Exactly. Like the film, like the people who they're trying to get don't care necessarily about the movie itself. Like people who were participating in the Barbieheimer thing, didn't care about seeing Oppenheimer or Barbie. Really, it's just like they want to like take their pictures at the movie theater, like, oh, I'm at Barbie, I'm about to go into Oppenheimer.
I'm seeing Oppenheimer as well. Yeah,
you know, and like they are there not for the art, but to be a part of, like, this might be a little bit too nice to say to it, but they want to be a part of that community aspect of the branding of it.
Yeah,
because nothing is about the actual art itself anymore. It's about like the branding of it.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, and
honestly, like, I feel like, the only time you get a real turnout at a movie theater is like a situation like that where you have just a bunch of buzz on the internet of people talking about it or talking about how excited they are.
Yeah.
And that happens less and less and less. I think they're trying to do that with Deadpool and Wolverine. I don't think I think it's that movie's definitely going to make its money back.
Yeah, no, 100%.
But I don't think that it's got as much interest as it would have had like 10 years ago.
No, it's true.
I think because I'm probably not going to see that in the theater. I'll probably watch that streaming on my big ass TV.
That's fair. I'm definitely going to see that one in theaters just because like I'm going to see the roast of the MCU. We were talking about it.
Yeah.
Today. Like that's,
you'll have to let me know how brutal the roast is, and if it's brutal enough, then I will see it.
Yeah, that's what I want it to be. If it's good enough and brutal enough, like I'll come with you. Yeah, no, but then honestly, at the end of the day, as far as like why people aren't going to theaters, it's what we've said so far. It's that it's the fact that like people can watch it at home, because during COVID, I feel like a lot of people invested a little bit more time in making their home theater situations better. Yeah, like as far as like because like big ass TVs like this, looking at Joseph's like big 70-something inch TV, are significantly more affordable.
Oh yeah, I got this thing on the cheap. I'm not rich, everybody.
Yeah,
I'm probably more poor than LC. Like
we're all poor. We're all poor here.
Well, this is the poor podcast. I got this TV on the cheap.
Yeah.
But like But I've watched it's such a good experience because I don't have someone crinkling a wrapper in my left ear. I don't have teenagers playing TikToks here.
You don't got the.
You will never guess what's in this bag in a billion years.
The ASMR experience.
You will never ever guess.
And then watch TikToks.
It's a Zen garden with sand.
My phone don't want to go. Yeah, I want to tell the audience about. I was telling you earlier, but when me and Courtney went to see Wonka with Paul Atreides himself, there were these two women next to us who
this movie was Evil Dune.
They were talking the whole time, and then at one point in the movie, one of them took a phone call, and was talking at full volume.
And that's not even the only story of that I've heard.
Yeah, no, it's
my friend was like, this woman answered the phone, and it wasn't even like, "Hey, I'm in the theater. Let me call you back." It was like, "Yeah, I got time to talk." What is wrong with people?
I think that it's the thing.
Do we need to re-educate people on what to do in a theater?
Now, I'm not going to expect everybody to completely shut their phones off during a movie.
No,
it's unrealistic and it's something that's never. But as far as like
mine's on vibrate.
Yeah, before COVID, it was a thing where it's the common social arrangement was turn your phone on vibrate. If you need to look at your phone, do it discreetly.
Yes,
have the brightness
down. Brightness turned down.
Oh
my God! At Planet of the Apes, this teenager had the brightness all the way up.
Or at the very least, this part of the reason you're going is for the communal experience of seeing something with an audience. There's a certain energy with certain kinds of movies that's beneficial, and you're going for that, and part of that is respecting the people around you.
Yes.
And I think that
I thought we were living in a more respectful time.
I think the two aspects of it is one, people just weren't used to that because COVID made it so that anybody cares about is everyone was just so used to making their own personal experience comfortable.
Yeah.
Where it's we lost that skill, but also, and this might be very old man of me.
We do sound like two old assholes.
Back in my day,
fucking movies, fucking teenagers on their damn phones.
Yeah, but this is gonna sound very old man of me, but it's just people are more addicted to their phones.
Yeah,
and it's a thing where it's you talk about
shorter attention spans.
Yeah, shorter attention spans. You talk about it. I understand, and I've talked to a lot of people, younger people, and people about who don't watch movies, don't go to the movies, where it's I can't just sit there and watch something for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
That's putting all of my concentration on one thing for an extended period of time is just not something I can do. And I understand.
Don't go to the movie theater.
Yeah.
That's what that's for.
Watch it.
Is to sit down and shut up and watch the movie.
Watch it in 18 parts on TikTok, yeah.
I'm fine being a grump ass in this situation.
Me
if
too.
you can't do that, you should not go to a movie theater.
Yeah.
If you don't want to see the movie, don't go to... I don't understand this.
Yeah, I completely agree.
There's so many situations where it's neither of us want you to be here. So why are you here?
Mm-hmm. Watching this person upgrade their
his wild
car
hunt
on the Mad Max game stream. But yeah, no, it's a skill that people don't have anymore. And part of me is a little bit sad about that because this is an art form that I care about.
Yeah.
But another part of me is well, I can enjoy talking to and having a community of people who do respect it.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. I have never had that experience at a small independent Studio 35 is the one near us. It's a bar theater. It's it's geared towards cinema fans. I refuse to use the term cinephile.
Cinephiles.
Movie fans and older people. Like I said, it's a bar kind of thing. Yeah. And people are always quiet. They're always respectful. At
this point, I have a Cinemark right by us, which is where we saw this.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll pretty much only go during in the middle of the day.
Yeah, when it's not crowded.
Yeah. And if it's a PG-13, forget about it. I'm not going to see that in the theater.
I know it's really illogical because Furiosa was rated R.
Yeah.
But when we went to the theater today, there was a fuck ton of kids in the lobby.
Yeah, they were on like a field trip.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, they're probably there to see Garfield, but like,
Garfield, Kung Fu Panda 4 is there. If
dear God.
and
my god, imagine in that theater.
I hope they're not seeing Furiosa.
That would have been fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
And it would have pissed me off.
Yeah.
It would have been both.
It would have been rough. At the end of the day, yeah, so like small theaters I think are kind of the bastion of hope for me.
Yeah.
Just as far as like, and the nice thing with like the indie theaters too is like a lot of them are making their bank on showing older films now. Or like you ever been to Gateway Film Center downtown?
Yeah.
They show like cult movies all the time, older films, and like that's and that's pretty cool, and that's probably
sick.
It's probably helping them stay afloat because it's way cheaper to like license and rescreen older films than newer films.
I remember I was there once and they were showing Shrek, which is interesting.
Yeah, for the kids. But the last thing, or like the main thing that I think is keeping people from going to the theaters right now is that motherfuckers are poor.
That's true.
We
just saw a matinee and tickets were $10.
Yeah, we to be fair,
it was the fancy
it was
theater.
the fake IMAX.
The only one I'm ever going to go to again, by the way, because that was a great experience.
Yeah, no, that was a lot of fun.
Oh my God, there's a bike in this, by the way. I think it's called like the Thunder Maker or something like the Thunder Bike.
The Thunder Bike.
And you
feel the thunder.
The subwoofers go crazy with that bike.
The sound in that theater was fucking great.
This movie's sound is awesome.
Yeah, the sound design's wonderful.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, to take your family to get, like, if you're somebody like with a family and you have like 2 or 3 kids, like you're easily dropping like $200.
Oh my God.
I need a slushie. I need a nice.
That was the thing too. Is like I was at Planet of the Apes, and like this mother had brought her like gaggle of teenagers, and it's like she must have dropped like $60 on you guys to see this movie that you don't give a shit about. I would be so angry if I was that mother, because this shit is expensive. Like it's a luxury. It's sad. Yeah, no, that's another reason.
Yeah, for sure. And just at the end of the day, people need to pick and choose what they're going to see.
It's a tough decision.
It's like, oh, is it worth seeing? And then, another factor too that's actually, I think, is another thing. The distance, is it giving you a struggle?
No, I got it.
The mic. I think another thing that's big is that movies are going from theaters to streaming so quick now.
Oh, insanely fast. You have to catch them like that.
Yeah.
Boy Kills World, I never got to see. I think it was like a low, a super low key release, but I really wanted to catch it, and they were only playing like 10 p.m. showings for like 2 weeks.
Yeah,
and then I wasn't like, now I have to try to find it on streaming if I want to watch it.
Well, is it streaming now? Is it available to stream?
I don't know. I hope so. Like,
well, what I was saying, like Civil War is like an example too, where it's like Civil War honestly didn't.
It was only in theaters for like a month.
Yeah, and it was only what, in the month, like a month ago or 2 months ago.
Yeah,
that it was there, or like there was some.
Like you got to catch them like that.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't necessarily saying like the amount of time they're in theaters. I'm just saying that like, because they're gonna come to streaming so quickly, you can more easily justify like, oh, like I could just wait like a month and then it'll be on streaming.
Yeah.
So I don't need to see it.
Yeah, there's not really much like incentive to go see it at a theater.
Whereas, like,
and that's the thing too, is like, are we even gonna judge movies based on box office anyway? Considering they make, at this point, they probably make the majority of their money on streaming.
Yeah. I remember even distinctly. I just have memory. I was working at FYE when The Force Awakens came out, and I remember The Force Awakens came out in like December, and the Blu-ray for it, and at that time I'm pretty sure Blu-ray and digital was the same day.
Yeah. Now
they usually do digital and then like a Blu-ray release a little bit later.
I remember buying the Blu-ray digital combo packs of movies. Remember that? That was such a specific time in history.
Yeah. The Blu-ray for Force Awakens didn't come out till May, 5 months later.
Yeah.
And now that turnaround time is much, much quicker. So it's rough. In Furiosa, it's a little bit of a bad sign for me, because I still say, for the most part, as far as like how movie theaters are going to go, I think all of it, movie theaters, Blu-rays and DVDs and stuff, it's all just turning into a more niche market.
Yes.
Like there's still a demand for it. The things that do exist.
Yeah, you can see my collection of physical media down there, and it hasn't grown in a few years.
Yeah, nothing good's come out.
Yeah, there's Tropic Thunder.
Yeah, but it's just a thing where it's like, it's become more boutique, and it's become just like smaller. It's a collector's market now.
Yep. And now if you own and now it's like if I want to watch a movie, like that I think of like, man, I'm in the mood to watch this movie. There's probably literally nowhere I can stream it that on like a service that I have.
Yeah, and you have to rent
it. Like the vast majority of the time, I end up just having to rent it on YouTube.
Yeah, you have to.
That's just where we are right now.
Yeah, and then even like we're gonna get into that lost media thing. I think I told you about how me and Courtney were watching Dogma. We were talking about that with King. And how like we couldn't rent it anywhere. Yeah. So like we watched my DVD, which I was annoyed because it's not HD.
I do hate DVDs.
Real shitty stuff.
Bummer.
But people
state of movies right now. Yeah. Bummer.
But the people's listening though. Please go see Furiosa. Regardless of like, you'll hear our more detailed thoughts on it in a moment.
There are good movies coming out.
There are good movies.
That is not the downside of cinema right now.
This is a good big old summer movie that you should definitely go see.
It's extremely fun.
It's definitely worth your time. It's
an all around good movie.
It is definitely a great movie to see in the theater.
Oh yeah, it's built for the theater.
Like
absolutely.
It is a superior experience. Please go see it. Support it.
Please God.
But yeah. Anyway, so to the movie. We just saw it. I want to bring up the Wikipedia page for it. So Furiosa, a Mad Max. Furiosa, a Star Wars story.
Yeah.
How do you?
The title does give Solo vibes, doesn't it?
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about the title, a Mad Max saga.
I think that was a studio mandate.
Yeah, that's true. To, like, make sure that people connect it.
Yeah, I'm sure he just wanted it to be called Furiosa.
Yeah, Furiosa or simply Furiosa. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of fair.
Mad Max is in it, by the way.
He is in it for 2 seconds.
He's in one shot.
You see the back of his head, which
Furiosa is in trouble, and this is spoilers. We're I'll wait until we're in spoilers.
Okay. By the way, fun fact: the person playing Mad Max there is Jacob Tamori, who is Tom Hardy's stunt double.
That's hilarious.
Is Mad Max because they can't afford to get Tom Hardy for the day.
To get the back of his head? What? To get a shot of the back of his head?
Yeah, to stand on a cliff.
Don't get excited.
Sorry.
It's a cameo.
Yeah, so this movie opens up. You get a little bit of the quick old summary of like, oh, the world's fucked and nukes and...
Yeah, in case you don't know what Mad Max is, they're like... We get like a little like as like the opening credits are going, it's like, the world's ending, and then we come in and definitively prove that we are in Australia.
Mm-hmm. There's a global...
From space, we see Australia very clearly, and we zoom in on the green place.
Yeah, zoom in on it. And it took me out for a second as far as like, you know what this opening in the green place reminded me of?
What?
Like Furiosa and her sister were like running around like without shoes, like getting fruits. I'm like, this feels like Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
like I got big Hobbit vibes.
Yeah, it felt very fantasy. Yeah, there's because we get a little glimpse of like the society. Spoiler alert for Fury Road that like dies out.
Mm-hmm.
But we get like a little glimpse of it, and it looks like Rivendell or something.
Yeah.
Like everyone's super happy. There's like a bunch of people living in this like beautiful green utopia.
It does look like really ethereal.
That, it wouldn't really fit the theme of Mad Max if that place stuck around for very long and didn't just also die out.
Mm-hmm.
I think the whole point of Mad Max is just everything is like the world should be dead by now. Mm-hmm. Like everything that's still alive is probably the worst representation of humanity possible.
Yeah, everything that's still alive is like literally the remnants.
Yes.
Like it's the aftermath.
And this world makes you worse, which I think is the whole point of Chris Hemsworth's character.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, no.
100%. I was surprised at how much I loved him in this.
Oh, he was fantastic.
I'm usually not a huge fan of him.
This is his best performance. He when this movie literally said like, I'm done with this Marvel shit.
Yeah.
Let me be weird.
With his big fake nose.
I to be totally
do something weird, okay? Don't judge me.
It's okay.
Fuck, that usually works.
I
look extra weird. I hissed at my cat.
It's okay. Joseph's trying to get his cat to move. Usually we have a little dog running around, but we got these 2 cats. Joseph is his cat.
Fred's an ass. Everybody needs to know that.
Yeah.
Anyway,
we have to. You know what's gonna get us big. You know what's gonna get us big follows on the social media.
Yeah.
We gotta take a bunch of pictures of our pets.
Yeah, we need animal mascots.
Yeah, yeah.
You guys would love my dog.
Blossom and Bruce and all the pets and that we gonna do that soon.
What were you saying?
I'm trying to remember. Oh, Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah, he's great.
I just want to talk about. I always knew Chris Hemsworth was a great actor.
Yeah.
Honestly, as far as like
a little underutilized up until now.
He's honestly thinking back to. This might be a weird example. I think that he's of all the Avengers.
Yeah.
Right, in those movies, I genuinely think that he has like the most tragic like through story.
Well, yeah.
And then
like
also
his whole planet gets destroyed, doesn't it?
Yeah, his whole planet and his brother getting killed in front of him. Like in Avengers: Infinity War, like there's a great scene. Ironically, and I always think back to like I think this is a great scene when the Norse god of thunder is talking to the talking raccoon in the back of the ship, and Rocket's like giving Thor a pep talk because like Thor is like having like a little bit of a disassociative
They really
moment.
ramped up the absurdity in those movies, didn't they?
Oh yeah, no. Like honestly, impressively, because
it's like a frog boiling in water. Like you don't
like,
even notice it at a certain point.
There's a fucking living tree playing a PSP in the front of the spaceship while a talking raccoon is talking to the Norse god.
A living
of
tree
thunder.
that only says one thing.
Yeah, and you're just like,
and you're like, yeah, sure. We've seen crazier shit than this.
That's an impressive feat by itself. Honestly, Iron Man to Avengers Endgame is
they ramped into it nice and slow.
Is an impressive feat.
Yep.
That we won't. I don't think we're ever gonna see anything like that done again in our lifetimes.
Yeah.
But anyway, so with this, Chris Hemsworth was like really good in this scene. Like he portrays like a lot of emotion.
No, I mean this character is a lot more interesting than I expected. I was expecting yet another Mad Max villain.
Like another
that's just some big bulked up insane asshole that has no personality, but like everything that was once like their mind is just gone, and now they're just like an animalistic husk like everybody else in Mad Max.
Yeah.
That's such an interesting world. But no, he's an actual like deep character, and there's like hints of a backstory.
Lord
and, like,
Dementus.
Yeah, his character's Dementus. Yeah, no, and he's got this fake nose, and he's doing this crazy voice, and he's
this like weird little lady and gentleman.
He's doing like a stereotypical Australian voice, like a bushman. And he's, do you want to get into spoilers?
Yeah, spoil everything.
We've got a really good like hint as to like he had a family, his children were killed. It's a lot like Max, to be honest.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's like his family was killed, and his way of coping with that was just hardening himself and leaning into the insanity that everybody is eventually taken with in the world of Mad Max.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a world that brings out... Like, he's a reflection of the wasteland itself, and that makes him a perfect villain for this movie.
He very much goes down that, like, Joker path.
Yeah.
And there's parts where, like, you see, like, little bits of humanity within him, too, where it's, like, you don't necessarily, like, sympathize with him, but you can see that, like...
Some of the stuff he's doing is making him feel bad.
Yeah.
But it's not so much like, I feel guilt. It's like... God, look at the state of things where this is stuff that I have to do now.
This is just how I have to be in order to survive. But then also you could see in little moments that he does care about Furiosa.
Yeah.
Like in the early on scenes. Like
because he lost his kids. Yeah.
And it's like reminding him of his kids. Like he's a very human villain.
Yeah, which is why I was so surprised. Like, this is a Mad Max movie. No, it's surprisingly deep.
Make me feel things, yeah. No, it's like a character-driven story. Like, I was just shocked by the first... So that's another thing, is that this movie is divided into like a very specific 5-chapter, like 5-act structure, like with title cards.
That's something we should bring up. Is this is not Fury Road? At all.
No, it's structured so differently.
Fury Road is probably like a chapter in this story. Like, it really is. Like, it fits in as the last chapter of this movie.
Yeah. You consider 6?
Yes.
The Fury Road.
Yeah, exactly. That it'd be perfect to watch Furiosa and then Fury Road as like the finale of that movie.
It actually is, yeah.
It's like the perfect third act.
It would just roll right into it.
Yes.
Yeah.
It ends right as Fury Road is starting. Yeah, because this movie is not a single chase stretched into a movie like Fury Road. He's taken essentially a novel structure, like an epic. Like this story spans like 20 years or something like that.
I think Wikipedia says 15 to 20 years.
Yeah, 15 years. She's like 15 years ago.
Set 15, 20 years for the events of Fury Road. Yeah.
It's insane. Like it's such a different pacing, and there are issues every now and then. Whereas like people like to forget in Fury Road there are some slower bits that drag just a little bit.
Like one.
Yes.
For 2 seconds.
But that's there, and that's in this movie too. Where like this is not trying to be Fury Road 2. It's trying to be its own. It's more structured from what I understand. Granted, I have not seen Mad Max, but from what I understand of the story and the character, it's structured like a standard Mad Max story where she's got her own motivations, and then she's swayed to, instead of selfishly go after, she is eventually swayed to like actually care about the people she meets. That kind of thing. But, you know, I'm ignorant about...
well, when you put it like that, I guess kind of. It's been a while since I've seen the original Mad Max movies, because, like, I don't want to spoil anything about them for you, because, like, you do want to watch them.
Go for it.
It would actually be fun. I have all 3 on Blu-ray. We should do, like, an OG Mad Max episode.
Yeah, all 3.
Yeah. That'd be really cool.
That'd be fun.
We're going to do that.
I know Thunderdome's goofy.
Thunderdome's a lot of fun. Thunderdome was my favorite as a kid. I bet it's going to be my favorite again.
Okay.
Road Warrior is objectively the best one, because honestly, Road Warrior is the closest in energy to Fury Road.
Okay.
Of the original 3, and I think that's why. Because in my opinion, Fury Road is the best of all 5.
Okay.
For me personally.
Fair.
Yeah.
I think I liked Furiosa a little bit more, because I think this movie does deliver on the exact kind of action that you're looking for from Fury Road. Fury Road is a lot more practical, which does make a really big difference. But this delivers on the world building, and it just kind of blows everything out. Like it's like Fury Road is just so laser focused on what it is, whereas this is trying to be a lot more.
You get so much more detail about how this world works, about how honestly about how the Citadel works, and like a Morton Joe's whole.
Yeah, and that's something I like about Fury Road, is like how it's like, it's not, there's no like text crawl at the beginning, like in the beginning there would like this is a Morton Joe and this is where he like it's like, and Furiosa is the same way, where it's like, you know, just enough for the plot, you you can piece together, like if you're curious about this world building, you can look deeper and like see answers for your questions. Like it's all there.
And also, like they pretty much show you everything in Fury Road and this movie. They show you. They don't directly tell you everything. Like, they don't go like, these are Morton Joe's wives.
Yeah.
And they're for me. They show you. You see one of the wives give birth, and she gives birth to like a.
And like, oh, okay, so he's got all these wives and he can't give birth. Like, and his only sons are like deformed.
Yeah.
One of them needs like an oxygen tank.
The healthiest one is like has the mind of a child. Rictus.
Yeah, Rictus, and he needs like an oxygen tank on his back all the time. And then Scrotus, who's the bad guy in the game, by the way. He's got like a big
head,
prosthetic forehead. So yeah, it's like, okay, so this guy probably can't have, like, the most important thing in the world to him is to have like a healthy offspring.
You know what's funny about the guy who plays Scrotus in this movie?
Yeah.
Something I just kept thinking about. So the guy that plays Scrotus is the same. I don't know. I'm gonna find the actor real quick. Is the same actor that plays William Stryker in the new, like, the period piece X-Men movies.
Okay.
Like
interesting.
Young Stryker. I gotta find.
I wouldn't expect this guy to like form a complete sentence.
1 second. Josh Hellman is the actor's name.
Nice.
And I always thought that he had like a big forehead. Like I always.
He was hired because of his big forehead,
well, like,
and George Miller was like, "Nah, make it bigger."
I always thought that he had like an intense forehead situation. So like, if you want to see him, here he is without the prosthetic. If you can lean over, I don't want to move my laptop that much. You see what I mean?
Pronounced forward forehead,
and forward
now
brow.
It's like even more overhanging in this movie.
Yeah, they just kind of extended it.
Yeah.
But no, he's got his sons. So and they show you like all the little things, like you see like
Mm-hmm.
The like you said, the soy farm, like the maggot people who live underground.
Protein farms. Yeah, and it all makes sense. Like it's my favorite kind of world building where like some of my favorite games are like, I think I've brought this up before, like Shadow of the Colossus and The Last Guardian, where it's like it's not an incredibly defined world beyond like the conclusions you draw from the things that you see, like from like the wardrobe to the production designs to the sets and the way the cars look. It all has its own like internal logic where it's like you're not going to look at it and be like, well, that doesn't make sense, because like if you're actually curious about it, you'll think about it and be like, oh, okay. Mm-hmm. So the wives that fail giving birth, they are taken later to just be like milk farms.
To be the milkers, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where they come from.
And because of Morton Joe can't have a child, this is why it's so like important to him, and that's Mm-hmm. It makes a lot of sense. Like it's the production design. I hope it wins something.
Yeah, I hope it gets nominated for some kind of.
This movie has some of the best world building I've seen in a movie. I think I saw that. No, never mind.
What do you think you saw that? What?
I completely misremembered. In the credits, it said effects supervisor Andrew Jackson, but I thought for some reason in my mind I heard Peter Jackson.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, okay, well that makes sense.
Peter Jackson's Mad Max movie. No.
Yeah, absolutely. That would have been cool. Peter Jackson consulting on this movie.
I mean, this movie do be an epic, but instead of being 2.5 hours, it'd be 18 hours.
There is a whole war that happens that we kind of skim over.
Mm-hmm. That's true. The 40-day war.
Yeah. It happens, and then we're at the end of it because it's not really that important to the plot.
Yeah, it'd be way too much money.
Yeah.
to spend. But yeah, basically, so in the to the plot. So yeah, this first section is basically like the Act 1 is Furiosa gets kidnapped by some bandits from the Green Place, and
bandits who are slaughtering her horse.
Mm-hmm. And Furiosa's mom is chasing after her to get her back, but also to kill the bandit men, because like they want to keep the Green Place a secret.
Yes.
So that way nobody comes and raids it and stuff. This first second, this is like when I really knew, like, okay, this is going to be a very different vibe, because I really enjoy this first section because it literally is like a slow chase where it's like one woman chasing these like two guys on bikes.
Yeah.
And like they're pacing back and forth, like Furiosa's like cutting the line, so they have to like patch themselves up.
I was like, man, we're really spending a lot of time with Furiosa as a child.
Mm-hmm.
It's like half the movie.
It is half the movie is not Anna Taylor-Joy. It's this actress, Aaliyah Brown.
Sure, child.
Yeah, she was really good.
Yeah,
I mean, and she did look a lot like this child.
Very, very smooth transition from this child into Anya Taylor-Joy.
There's actually like a reasoning behind why it looks so smooth. So they used I forget. I think I heard that it was like some AI.
Oh God, no!
Like deep face type technology, where basically they had like.
That's fucking weird.
They had a middle face like they had like a model.
Oh, on like the little kid.
So of the girl's face and Anna Taylor-Joy's face, right?
And they merged them for like the in between.
They made a middle, and then they basically were able to like turn the dial of like how much Anna Taylor-Joy, and how much of the little girl would have, and throughout the movie they kind of just turned it up slowly until.
On one hand, that works. On the other hand, the fucking horror. I do not like that at all.
Yeah, no, just like conceptually, it's like
it's unsettling.
It worked for the movie, but the fact that like
those actors, man, they don't get to use their own face.
Exactly.
That's fucked up.
That wasn't me. That was Anna Taylor-Joy plus me.
I don't know, man. That makes
Anya Taylor. I keep calling her Anna Taylor, but it's Anya.
Anya.
I keep calling her Anna.
It's okay. I forgive you on her behalf.
But yeah, no. So yeah, it's this little girl for the first half of the movie. I mean, I thought her performance was really good. Although, to be fair, she's not necessarily the one doing the most action in the first half, though.
Yeah.
Like, I almost feel like the first half of this movie is kind of more Dementis's movie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we need to get to know him. Yeah, it's Dementis, and at the beginning, it's Anya Taylor, Furiosa's mother, who's trying to hunt her down and get her back. Yeah,
she follows them to a little outpost, of Dementis's horde, where they're camping out, and basically they're trying to get Furiosa to tell them where she came from.
Yes.
Because she's like super healthy and well fed, and they're like,
and she's very well trained, so she doesn't.
Yep. So she keeps her mouth shut.
Yeah. And that first scene where we meet him, he's getting like a lesson from a history man.
Yeah.
Which is such a cool concept.
Yeah.
It's another example of what I'm talking about, where it's like this man is in charge of educating people in history, so his entire body is tattooed up with like tiny little script of history, and he's got like covered in, all his clothes are completely covered, and his staff is like, that's such a cool idea.
It was giving the Mentats from
Yes.
From Dune vibes. I actually got a lot of Dune vibes from this movie, and
this movie is dark Dune.
Yeah, and I was trying to figure out why.
It's because it's the desert.
Yeah,
it's the desert, and it's all mystical.
It's the desert,
and
mystical.
disorienting and strange.
There's some visual similarities.
Yeah.
I do think though that the just the way that like they that in Dune, like there's a lot of in Dune. There's like everyone has their specific occupation. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like everyone's like, you have this one specific purpose, and
Well,
I feel like
because if you don't have a job, you're just like one of these like gross little grubby guys at the bottom.
Exactly.
Waiting for the water to pour out on him at the beginning of Fury Road.
Yeah, and I think that it's a similar kind of vibe in this movie where it's like everyone, like there's the organic mechanic.
Yeah.
The doctor character
Yes.
was the same kind of thing, which I love that fucking name for a doctor.
The organic mechanic.
That's so good.
Yeah, I saw him and I was like, oh, okay, so Morton Joe's going to get him from Dementis at some point.
Yeah.
She's got to lose her arm at some point, and she like tattoos a map back home based on the stars on her arm, and it's like, oh shit, because like way before it happens, you realize what's going to happen. You just don't know quite how, but it still ends up being surprising.
Exactly. Yeah. No, the way it happens is pretty rough.
It is.
Most of the time when I feel like that's one of my big issues with a lot of prequels is that like there are certain things that you know are gonna happen.
That's
like,
true.
This character's one arm, she's gonna lose that fucking arm at some point.
Oh, this guy's probably gonna die. This guy's
Yeah.
almost definitely gonna die at some point because he is not in the sequel.
This guy's gonna end up here, and I feel like with a lot of prequels, the issue is like the way that we get to that point. Like the moment of how they get it is never as cool as like what you think.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think the arm thing paid off. Well, no.
No, the arm. Well, in this movie, I thought it was well executed with the arm.
So just to jump ahead a little bit, she's being like held captive by Dementis, and her arm is like coming apart, and to like deal extra pain, he like hangs her from that arm to watch like her loved one get dragged behind a car for like an entire day.
Watch Praetorian Jack.
Yeah.
The not Mad Max stand-in.
Yeah, he's basically Max. Which I mean explains why she's so quick to trust him in Fury Road.
Oh,
but
because you think the idea is like
because she's met a man like this before.
She reminds him of him.
Yeah,
I can see that. I didn't think about that, but yeah, that tracks.
But yeah, she's hanging from this thing, and he wants her to stand there and or hang there and watch her loved one get dragged behind a car all day, and then after a while he like checks on her, and her arm has come off, and that's how her arm came off. And then she just kind of builds a robot arm just by herself in like 2 minutes.
You know the meathead version of like the connection between. I was just thinking it would be a real. I would hate the movie if Praetorian Jack was like her and Furiosa had a scene where they were talking, and he was like, I knew this guy once. I worked with him. His name was Max, and he was a bad motherfucker. And like just have that like.
Honestly, he could be like the original Max, because you know how people say that like Tom Hardy Max is like a kid from a previous movie. That guy could just be Max.
Or maybe a different Max.
Yeah.
Like there's a whole bunch of people that people have met out in the world. They're like, I bet.
Another cool thing about these movies, though, is they're like legends. Like they're not consistent between movies, like intentionally, because it's like everything is insane in these worlds, including like it's an unreliable narrator almost. Like these are legends of heroes. Like Max could just be, because there's a reason Max doesn't really make it. It's like, how long has this apocalypse been going on? This guy's still in his 30s. Like in every iteration that we see. And it leans into that at a point, because at the very end when she takes out Dementis, there's like 3 different versions of how she did it. And it's great. It's genius. It fits perfectly into the movie. It's like, well, why don't we just do all 3? Because like this is just a legend anyway.
You decide, and also it lets you fill in the gaps a little bit in your brain, where it's like oh, it could be like the worst thing imaginable, like in your head, you know. Because at the end of the day, like the scariest thing or the craziest thing is like what you imagine.
Yeah, exactly.
I was just thinking about so I recently upped my Patreon subscription to Dungeons and Daddies. I went to the next tier.
Okay.
And one of the content things is they have commentary tracks for some movies, and they do. What we were just talking about made me think of this. They have a commentary track on there for Twilight.
Nice.
And I was watching it the other day, and they were talking about how like I know that I couldn't make this movie because like I would do a bunch of dumb shit. like whenever Jake would come on screen, like I would just have like a little wolf noise go, "Awoo." And that just made me think about the
genius.
The Mad Max flashback. But anyway, yeah, no, just like sorry, what were we talking about?
We were talking about the legend at the end of the different versions.
Yeah, it's a good cover up to how George Miller does not give a fuck about continuity.
No, and good.
Yeah, like he just
we've got enough of that.
I just want to make the cool movie. That's my cool movie.
Do not have to be comic books. They can just be their own thing. That's why I love Logan, is because the director of that didn't give a shit about continuity either. He was just like, I just want to make a good movie.
That's why I love the X-Men movies in general, honestly.
Listen, I've watched the first 3 made by the pedophile and Logan.
Really? Only those? I guess that's all you really need for that one.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, honestly, they're all the period piece ones. All of them. They're all great because all of them, every X-Men movie, even though there's things that like come back, for the most part, they're all pretty self-contained.
Yeah.
Like each of their movies are like their own stories. Like later on, like some of the later, like some of the last few, you can feel the MCU-ism start to come in, where it's like,
because they're like, well, these other movies are doing really well.
Yeah, like where it's like everything, like the last 2, like X-Men Dark Phoenix was the last one, and then they did a movie called New Mutants. Mm-hmm. Not New. Yeah, it was the New Mutants.
Yep. Didn't that bomb?
It bombed hard.
Because I remember seeing the trailer for that and be like, oh, they're gonna make like a horror X-Men movie, and then not hearing anything about it for like 5 years.
It came out during
and then like being like, oh, that shit came out and it sucked. Oh.
So it came out during peak COVID, and and they didn't release it on. They still did a theatrical release for it during peak COVID.
Yeah. And
I saw it at a drive-in. And yeah, no, it was fucking terrible.
Bummer.
Yeah. But what was the point I was making? But yeah, no, those last 2 did a lot of like, oh, like here are the things to come. Like, oh, we're dropping hints for the next thing, which is like a very MCU thing at this point.
That's so lame.
Yeah, no, but like those X-Men movies, like there are a bunch of continuity errors, and honestly, it doesn't matter because
it doesn't matter. It's a movie.
At the end of the day, they're gonna do whatever they want to do. That's like best for the film.
Yeah,
that it's in.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, that's like the greatest dramatic, whatever has the greatest dramatic weight outweighs what makes sense.
Can we return to a time when every movie was in its own pocket dimension?
No, Joseph, because
individual pocket dimension.
We fucking can't. You know why? Because everyone is CinemaSins. Like, dude, all these.
You mentioned his wretched name.
Yes.
I fucking hate that guy, dude.
Me too.
I don't care who knows it. Those videos are goddamn garbage.
You want to talk about what's ruined movies? That motherfucker's ruined movies.
Let's start beef with CinemaSins, like everybody else on the internet.
Like everybody, like if every little thing does not line up perfectly with every other little thing,
dude, it's not even that. Well, yeah, for your example, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, like it's what are you saying? Well,
I was just thinking about CinemaSins now, how much I hate him.
Yeah, no, I just it's
that guy fucking like he critiques things with criticism that aren't even fucking criticisms.
Well, it's just like it's people can't suspend their disbelief for anything anymore.
Yeah,
really is what it comes down to.
It's like get your head out of like the meta and just watch the movie.
Like I was reading I was like listening to a review of Back to the Future, like an old, like someone a young person is here for the first time, and they're like, why is
reviewing Back to the Future?
And like, why is this high schooler
hanging out with this old man,
hanging out with this old scientist? Like, how'd they meet? How do they know each other?
Listen, they didn't think it was weird back then.
Yeah. Also, now there's talking about a concept like, we're gonna do a movie where this kid wants to go back in time and his mom wants to fuck him.
Yeah, there's that too.
He's got to convince his mom to want to fuck his dad.
And then that movie comes out and it makes $1 billion. And
it's like one of the most famous legacy movies of all time.
What a weird fucking world we live in.
Like, what I'm saying is like movies like are. Art is weird.
Yes.
Art should be allowed to be even big.
Let it be weird.
Big giant art like that like should be weird, and that's what makes it interesting. And like that's because people are weird, and like we make weird shit and we think about weird shit.
Speaking of Furiosa.
Oh yeah, right. Sorry,
Furiosa is a very strange.
We're gonna have a lot of tangents. Yeah. So after this first section, like they torture. They catch Furiosa's mom. They torture her.
Yeah.
And they kill her, torture her, and then
in front of her,
and
then Dementis pretty much adopts her to be like his like thing that he takes care of, like a pet.
Yeah, like his pet, like keeps her in a cage, puts a muzzle on her,
keeps her safe from his men. And by the way, he runs like he's the head of like a nomadic nation almost. Like it's like thousands of people on motorcycles.
Like they're just like this giant moving colony that like
it's like a nomad tribe. It's amazing.
Just kind of roams the desert. Yeah, no, like I was surprised by like it seems like there was a lot of extras in this movie. Like this, it felt very populated.
The scale of this movie is very zoomed out from Fury Road.
Like when was this movie filmed? Because here's the thing: something I noticed about a lot of
Gastown.
Gastown. Oh yeah, in the Mad Max game, we're looking at Gastown.
Yeah.
Something I've noticed about like a lot of kind of like COVID era movies, which even then I'm looking at this filming for this movie started June 2022, so we're not like even peak COVID.
Yeah.
A lot of COVID era movies feel very empty.
Yes.
Just for the simple fact of like they can't have
shot in a closet.
Yeah, like they can't have a lot of people around. Like you look at Spider-Man No Way Home, that is the most empty fucking New York.
Feels like a void, dude.
Like,
half the villains aren't even there.
Yeah, no. Yeah. It's like no one's around anywhere. Like here's no matter how much I love the apartment fight scene in No Way Home against Green Goblin, like where's all the people?
No one's there.
No one lives in this apartment. But like they smash through.
Those movies feel so calculated though, where it's like you forgot that these movies are about people.
Exactly. They go through like 8 floors of this apartment building, like through the lobby, like anywhere. It's the middle of the night, sure, but this is fucking New York City.
Yeah.
Like people would be coming in and out.
People are everywhere in that town. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah. But this world just feels so populated. Like when they go to like the Citadel, like it's like the Citadel and Dementis' little first outpost, and like everywhere just feels really crowded.
Yeah.
And over like all the people are like moths are just going into like to the nearest shelter.
Yeah, there's like in this movie, in this specific Mad Max Pocket universe, there are like 3 places to live.
Yeah.
And that's Gastown, the Bullet Farms, and the Citadel. Mm-hmm. And they all suck. You don't want to live in any of them, but it's if you either live there or you die in the wastes.
Yeah, they're all not great neighborhoods for sure.
You're basically like, because in Mad Max, like everyone's basically just evolved into being starving animals.
Mm-hmm.
And that gives way to like these insane hierarchies with just monstrous assholes at the top and the rest of us down poor. This is sounding a lot like just real life.
Oh wow, the world.
Yeah.
It's almost like us as humans. We just keep.
That's just the way we are, huh?
We come back to just like we're cavemen that want to hoard all the rocks and food and
yep.
And
I think that's what Mad Max is really about. Is just like the basal human. Instinct is to get yours and fuck anybody else.
Exactly, like it just turns back into survival of the fittest for sure.
Yep.
No humanity. But yeah, no. So the second section, begins. Furiosa's a pet. She's caged up with the history man.
Yeah.
Which I can't find the character's name on here. Mr. Norton.
Ed Norton.
Oh, what the fuck is his name? I don't see him. But anyway, the history man, and he he's covered in all these tattoos, and she
the one bit of kindness that she gets in this movie.
Yeah, like he offers to like teach her so that she can be a history man, and she tattoos the stars, like the path to like the map home, the stars on her wrist with his tattoo gun. And then so in this section, They roll up to the Citadel, and I love this fucking scene. So they roll up to the Citadel with his whole horde. He makes this big speech about like
He's like, help us overthrow
your leaders.
Not even help us. You guys overthrow your leader, and I will be your new leader.
Exactly. Like I won't. Like I'm not gonna. I will lead you because all leaders are false, or like really backwards logic.
Yeah, it's like you're getting taken advantage by your leaders.
Yeah.
Even though he will clearly do the same if he gets leadership.
And I love this. Before they get there, though, they run into that one war boy. He has like a bolt in his head.
Yeah.
And he's got the chrome. And it's
kind of dumb.
I love the war boys so much.
They're all so stupid. Well, their brains are fried from chrome maker. from
the chrome and just from being all cancer ridden and
They all got covered in tumors.
Exactly, and they're just like hyped up. The war boys are like it's the ultimate frat.
Yeah,
you know.
Oh man, you know what? Oh, side note: one of my favorite. I only just recently realized this. One of my favorite Mad Max details was in Fury Road. The reason he's on the front of the car when he's a blood bag, it's because it's giving him adrenaline, so he can pump adrenaline into the driver. Isn't that fucking? Doesn't it just make perfect sense and match the world so perfectly?
Yeah, that works so perfectly.
It's just so brutal, and it just works.
High octane, feral blood, fuel me up.
Yeah, this is like one of my favorite kinds of world building and like fantasy worlds where it's like it's not really even trying to have like any direct analog to anything in real life. Like, it just has its own internal logic that makes sense. Like, this is the world we live in, and it's very, very different from the one we have now. Yeah.
Facts.
Anyway, I interrupted, I think.
No, you're good. So they call out a Morton Joe. Joe's there with Rictus and Scrotus and his sons.
Yes.
And a Morton Joe's played by a different actor who he's all in the makeup, and he doesn't look that different from the first.
He looks younger.
He does look a little bit younger, but his voice just isn't as good. That's really the main thing.
I liked this Morton Joe better than the one in Fury Road.
Yeah,
I thought he seemed a lot smarter.
He is a lot smarter. I literally it's just the voice.
Yeah, I get that.
Like I think I like his voice needs to be raspy.
This guy actually felt like a character. Like that thing I said earlier about how all Mad Max villains are just crazy assholes.
Yeah.
This guy still has like some like tactical intuition and shit.
I never thought that anybody would make me think like, Morton Joe's bad, but at least he's not. I never thought I would
not
have
the guy from Bullet Town.
I never thought I would ever think anything would make me think that thought. And then it's a great moment where like a Morton Joe, like not even a Morton Joe, but the people eater, the man with the chain nipples.
Yeah, that guy guy's so gross. He's in Fury Road too. Yep. He's just always playing with his nipples.
Yep, he runs Gas Town in Fury Road. He's like, yeah, so before we start negotiations, pick a war boy. And then and
he has his like little actor out guy, the guy that acts out his speeches. Pick a guy, and that guy just immediately fucking jumps 30 stories with the two Thunderpoons and just blows up a group of the
witness.
Yeah, witness me. Yeah. And he just falls and dies, and he's like, yeah, they'll all do that for us if we want them to. You're an idiot.
That's like how fucking loyal like they are. Like it shows how like everyone has their different tactics for how to like control people in this world. And the Morton Joe is like create
religion,
create this mythology, create this like and it's just like a way to like have people if you die like defending me, you'll go to Valhalla and you'll live forever or whatever. It's like on a Morton Joe side, it's really smart.
Yes. Yeah, and that was in the original too, where he's like, I can literally get them to do anything that they want because they think they're gonna go to paradise.
Yeah, I feel like it's shown a lot better here, like the full depth of it.
Yeah. Honestly, there's a lot more clarity to the world in this movie than there was in Fury Road, which I don't think that's either a good or a bad thing, but it is interesting.
Because once again, in Fury Road, just as much as you need to know to understand everything in Fury Road.
Yes.
Yes,
exactly.
Like, it would be...
If you're curious about it, then it's there, but yeah.
Exactly. So basically, they ditch there, and they take over Gastown, in a scene that like really shows how smart Dementus is, because Dementus isn't dumb.
Yeah.
As far as they take one of the.
He's just crazy.
He's just crazy, like everyone is. He takes one of the gas tankers and he disguises some of his guys in his platoon as war boys. Clay covers them in white paint and stuff, and drive back to Gastown pretending they're under attack.
And then when they're not buying it, just actually kill the guys you put up there.
Exactly, just like seeming crazy.
Because life is cheap in Mad Max.
Exactly, like your life ain't worth shit.
Yep.
Like if I can use your death to benefit myself, I'm doing it.
Yep.
So they take over Gastown, and they basically have a bartering chip to get more food and shit from Morton Joe.
Yeah.
And in a great scene where I don't know, why does Dementus have his nipples attached to the dude again who runs Gastown?
You know, that's a really I kind of had a hard time following that too. I thought he was just threatening the Gastown guy.
Yeah.
But he also the thing that he was threatening him with was attached to his nipples, and when he shot the guy in the head, it tore his nipples off.
Which for that entire scene, I couldn't focus on anything outside of Chris Hemsworth.
And he just didn't care. Yeah.
No nipples. Like he reacted a little bit. He was like, "Oh, that hurt, but that's good."
Yeah. This pleasure really threw off my brain, and he had to come back to what he was thinking of.
Exactly.
And that's Mad Max, man.
No, everyone's
got something big on their crotch to show how cool. It doesn't ignore how psychosexual everything is, and how hyper masculine this shit.
Everything's just up on the edge.
Yes.
They're trying to negotiate with a Morton Joe, and a Morton Joe sees Furiosa, and is sees Furiosa and is pretty much I'll let you have Gastown. If you give me her and you give me the organic mechanic. And you see that Chris Hemsworth is a little bit hesitant.
Yeah, because and you can tell his feelings are a little hurt because this little girl wants to leave after he's put so much time into taking care of her and keeping her away from his. But he also murdered her mother in front of her. Of her. So
and he's also a part of him is definitely probably well, that's Mad Max world. You choose.
Yeah.
Hey, I need to survive. That you're, Gastown's worth more than how much I care about you. Pretty much.
Yeah.
Type of deal. Furiosa gets traded to a Morton Joe, and at first, basically, she her purpose is you'll grow up into one of my wives,
yes,
because you're so healthy.
Yep.
She gets thrown into the wife chamber, and something I was kind of realized, something I was thinking about, so. She gets thrown into the wife chamber, and you see all of Morton Joe's wives. In Fury Road, there's only 5 wives.
Yeah.
But there's a fuck ton more wives.
Yeah, but we also see the milk farm ladies at the beginning too.
Yeah.
And apparently those are the wives that failed to give him a healthy boy.
Exactly. But just thinking the way that I kind of interpreted that is why are there so many more wives now than there are in Fury Road is because it is very rare probably to get a healthy child.
Yeah, especially because I think he's just a mutant in
yeah,
general.
He's a mutant and his sperm sucks. But as far as
sperm sucks.
I mean, yeah. But as far as it's probably getting more and more rare. Between then and Fury Road to find the wives to breed.
Yeah.
Probably incest wise if these wives give birth to a healthy girl, they probably would become new wives and stuff.
Yeah.
And but it's just so uncommon that it makes sense that the genetic stockpile is winding down, so that he would have less wives as time goes on.
Yep, he just uses them up.
Yeah, and just another little world building thing, and basically,
it's just everything's so well thought out and not over explained. It's the perfect balance.
Yeah. And at this point, it automatically starts to get creepy because Rictus starts taking like an interest in little girl Furiosa. Yeah,
Rictus, the big idiot bald guy son.
Big idiot bald man son. Yeah. Like, he's playing with her hair and shit, and she's got all these bells in her hair, and it's super creepy. We see one of the wives give birth to a mutant baby. Mm-hmm. She's gonna be a milker from that point on. And then what happens at that point?
She escapes.
Like Rictus takes her out, but then she gets away from him.
Yeah. She does a very clever escape involving shaving her head.
Exactly.
And she
disguises herself as a boy for a while.
Yeah, we jump forward to where she's just a worker at the Citadel.
Mm-hmm.
And she gets promoted to, what is it, Dog Boy?
Or Doc. I think it's a Doc Boy.
Doc Boy.
Where like
she just works like with like intake and shit of machines.
Of the machines that they like rise up to the Citadel to bring in to scrap for parts. And it is also kind of cool too to see like, oh, it's like a engineering program or something. It's like, oh, it's like a trade school.
Yeah, there's a really cool scene where she like, that actress does like some really interesting like acrobatics to like climb down
this like suspended truck.
Yeah, this suspended truck to like secure it and stuff. And yeah, she gets promoted, and we eventually see her working on the war rig, the original war rig. I don't think it's the same one.
Yeah, it's the OG war rig.
A cooler war rig, and all chrome.
I want to say real quick about this section of the movie where like this is when we start to get into Anna Taylor-Joy coming in, like
slowly transition.
She ages
using
up.
AI.
At this point now, like, okay, I was able to buy when she was like a little kid, like people thinking that she's a boy.
Yeah.
But then when she
her eyes are so huge.
Her eyes are gigantic.
Yeah.
Anna Taylor-Joy just has these like
like a very feminine face. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, and she has a mask on like underneath a little bit for the most part. But it's like part of me is like
big Betty Davis eyes.
Yeah. Part of me is like at this point, once she becomes Anna Taylor-Joy, I'm like, are we really buying that? And here's the thing, people are starting to suspect.
But everyone's crazy and stupid, though, is another thing we have
That's
to
true.
remember.
That's true. Yeah. There was just a part. It didn't ruin the movie or anything for me, but a part of my disbelief went like, really? No one isn't going to just...
I get that, yeah.
But yeah, no, so she's on the OG war rig, and then we meet Jack.
The current driver of the war rig.
We meet not Mad Max.
Yeah, he's basically Max.
We meet mildly subdued Max.
Yeah.
And
he's extremely cool under pressure, this guy.
Yeah, he's just like a super calm. He's the driver of the rig.
Yeah.
He's like a really calm dude, and he is very much like, as far as like, yeah, he is very similar to Mel Gibson's Max in the originals. I will say, thinking about it more, like that, he very much is a stand-in for that kind of character. To the point where like I wonder, would it have been? I don't know how they could have done it. You would have had to change how Fury Road like operated.
Yeah.
But if it was a thing where like he literally was Max, would that have made the movie worse or better?
I don't know. It would have been distracting.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's fine to just have like a fan theory that he's like just a different Max.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think I would have liked it anymore if he was Max.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and like I said, it would have completely conflicted with Fury Road, which continuity does matter between these two movies. I think. Yeah, because they lead directly into each other.
These are the only ones that are like this is straight up a direct prequel.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. But yeah, no. So she works on the rig, just as at this point basically as like a war boy mechanic, and then there's a big attack.
Yeah.
And the main like second in command on the rig gets killed. And she holds her own, and during that, her mask gets ripped off and her helmet. And
her hair is long.
And they see each other for the first time.
She's a girl, and then they have.
She's a girl.
That whole scene, by the way, that scene delivers on Mad Max Fury Road's exact kind of action.
Oh no! So from this point on, for me personally, this is like when
it kicks off.
The action really starts picking up.
It starts to be a lot more Fury Road like.
Yeah. It was the setup phase. Now we're in the shit.
Yeah, and at that point, they don't speak to each other until like the end of that scene. Like they're just quiet. They're like communicating through glances. While they're it's a great action scene. I cannot recount everything that happens, nor would you want me to.
They're trading badassery.
But it's a really cool driving scene of a caravan being attacked.
She's jumping out. I love how in the Mad Max movies they just like jump all over the vehicles. Like they're underneath. Like there's
especially because the war boys don't give a shit about their lives.
Mm-hmm.
So
no, absolutely, there's bodies and explosions like going everywhere. It's so
one of the war boys gets a bomb and he's like, "Witness me!" and he just jumps in front of the car that is in front of the war rig.
Well, he didn't.
It blows the war rig. It blows the car on top of the war rig.
He didn't even have to because Furiosa was about to throw it in.
Yeah,
and then he just grabs it.
But he's a war boy, so he wants to die in battle.
It's like that the moment like that just is so.
You have to account for insanity and chaos.
It's so dark. It's darkly funny to me.
Yeah.
That whole dynamic.
Good for them, they're the happiest ones in the wasteland.
Exactly. I love how dumb they are. But yeah, no. So after this scene, basically, Jack takes Furiosa under his wing, and basically is like, yeah, I'm going to teach you everything.
Trains her up to just be a driver of the war rig.
Like, I'm going to teach you everything I know, and then I'm going to help you get out of here.
Yeah.
And and I feel like, okay, we need to talk. I think we should talk about like the whole romance element of this.
It's barely there.
Yeah, it's not.
It's there enough.
It's there enough. Like for me.
I think it's the bare minimum of establishing that she cares about him to make it extra sad when he dies.
Yeah, no, they never have a moment where she's like, "I love you, I'll never let you go." Like, but it's like it's
they have like a little embrace, and they he's like trying to help her get back home, and she's grateful for that.
And at first, like, it is just a respect thing, but it does become like them caring about each other.
Yeah,
like that.
Yeah. It goes just far enough to where it's like, okay, now it's like. This guy now, Dementus is going to take another person that she cares about away from her, like in front of her all over again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, we get this period where, sorry, Courtney's texting me.
It's all good.
1 second. Collect loot. So like, in this whole sequence, like, this is where I think some of the movie, I think this is like part 3 or 4. Yeah. This is where I would have cut some shit out.
Some of the scenes drag a bit.
I feel like there's like 4 times we're like, oh, we're going to Gastown, we're going to Bullet Farm, we're going to Gastown.
There's a lot of this that's dedicated to setting up why a war is going to happen later. And then it happens and it's over in a scene.
Yeah,
so it's kind of like,
the actual war itself is like a little montage, pretty much.
Yeah, I feel like that's where he cut it. That's where he cut a lot. Because I mean, like, Furiosa's not really involved in the war that much. It's just kind of happening in the background, and then we jump to the end where Dementus is lost.
Yeah.
Are we there yet? Like, I think.
Well, no, there's still.
Yeah, there's still the part where in Bullet Town or the Bullet Farm.
Well, basically, we get to this point where they're regularly making their rounds to the Gastown and Bullet Farm, and basically shit's bad at Gastown.
Yeah, like because Dementus has taken over Gastown and he just cannot run it.
Yeah, he's
not capable of keeping up demand and keeping his people happy. So there's like constant riots. People are attacking the war rig, and he just tells them to just get out. So they leave empty-handed. Meanwhile, the guy at the Bullet Farm is like. He's like, we need to like have a talk about going to war with Gastown because this guy is so incompetent and he's ruining all of our business. Yeah. So we can see it's a very good effect because it's like these are the people that are like would be like the in-between runners. They would know about like why a war is about to happen. It's very clearly communicated.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. Like, and I think a big part of like why it works so well here is because it's a very simple triangle.
Yes.
It's like there are 3 places. Like, that's all you have to keep
wasteland.
track of. Yeah. And that's all you
conflicts
have to keep
with the game a little bit, but I guess that's okay.
Sorry, it doesn't have to keep continuity with the game. Like once we roll, like basically I do like how they show we go to Bullet Farm first, and the Bullet Farm is organized as fuck. Like, everything is down to a T. Like, they get there, and, like, war boys run around with, like, wagons full of vegetables, and, like, they're loading in the bullets, and, like, it's a very structured thing. And then when we go to Gastown, it's just, like, chaos.
It's a shit show. There's riots. A riot breaks out, like, as they're, like, leaving.
There's riots happening, and, like, Dementus
is clearly, like, in over his head and all stressed out.
Yeah,
and
he's stressed and old and, like, sickly, and, like, you know, he's not doing good, and he wants a meeting with a Morton Joe.
Yep.
And then basically, they go back to a Morton Joe with like, and they just basically plan like, yeah, we're gonna get all the bullets from the Bullet Farm, and we're gonna go to Gastown and just take it back.
Yeah.
And then there's an ambush at the Bullet Farm.
Yep.
It
looks like Dementus is Dementus is trying to take over the Bullet Farm. And they attack the war rig. And there's a big action fight scene there.
There's a big fight scene. It's very cool.
It's a very good scene. I'm not going to recount everything that happens in the action scene.
Exactly. And
it's very good.
Yep. And then Furiosa and not Mad Max try to escape together with a little car and
because
some
they've
bikes.
Discussed ahead of time that he's going to try to help her get back home to the green place. And it looks like he's like working that plan into this plan.
Yeah, and he tries to make her go by herself, but he ends up coming with her.
Yeah.
And then Dementus catches up to them, and tortures him while he hangs her by her arm, which her arm gets crushed.
Fucked up arm,
which it gets
under his giant monster tow truck. By the way,
yeah,
man, my like inner 12-year-old boy, I saw that and I was like, that is the coolest fucking thing I've ever seen. It's it's got like 6 wheels. It's a monster truck. It's got a big tow truck thing on the back.
The combination of all the construction vehicles, monster trucks, and like classic cars is so insane.
Yeah, I mean this is peak Mad Max shit.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like all the designs are so creative.
It's top of his game at age 79.
100%. But yeah, no, basically, torture him, Jack,
drag him behind a motorcycle like all day.
And
Dementus is like, listen, I don't. Like,
he's like, I don't want to do this. You guys.
Yeah, it's like look at what you guys are making me be. I cannot be soft in this world. Like it's just something that you can't do.
You break my heart. Like, and it's crazy. Like, I understand why you did what you did.
Like, he's still definitively a very bad person, but he's
fell right.
He's sort of like the he's sort of like a direction that Max could have gone, or even Furiosa, I guess, where it's like the world made me bad, so that justifies all my actions that I do. Like anything that I do to survive or keep power, it's just what I had to do in this crazy world. And it makes sense. It still makes him an effective bad guy though, and it makes you want to see him get what's coming to him. He's like one of the best villains I've seen in a long time.
I think he's the best Mad Max villain.
Yeah,
period.
He's so good.
Like, because honestly, yeah. Every villain in all the movies is just another Immortan Joe.
That's true.
It's like it's another like
he's just a stand-in
in Road Warrior.
Because everyone's just insane. Like, how much can you do with that?
In Road Warrior, the character's name is Lord Humongous. Yeah. No, it's the same.
In the game, it's Lord Scrotus.
Yeah, they're all just like the same power-hungry warlord. Like Dementus has a lot going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. So, she escapes. I couldn't really tell did her hand fall off or did she cut her hand off?
I think it just because it was already his monster truck.
It was already damaged,
eaten through like a lot of her arm.
Yeah,
the arm that she'd made the tattoo on, by the way. Haha. Yeah, and so she escaped. But no one ever gets very far away from this convoy in this movie. Like, it's like, when did she escape? Because they're like right behind her as she's driving away.
Pretty much, she makes it all the way back to Immortan Joe somehow, to the Citadel, and basically tells him like
she's found and thought to be dead, and her arm stump is infested with maggots, and she wakes up in like the maggot harvesting.
Oh yeah! Oh my god!
Protein farm underground at the Citadel.
The nasties. You just see body parts.
Disgusting. Very effectively disgusting.
And her arm stump is just full of maggots and bugs and it's so gross.
Yep. But she escapes and she gets to Immortan Joe and tells him what's going on, and it's just thus starting the war.
Yep. And during this time, she dons her look, her Fury Road look.
Yes.
Where like she makes her
okay. Now the only thing different is this is not Charlize Theron.
She makes her a really cool robot arm, and she shaves her head and she gets the fit.
Yeah.
And now everyone respects her as a badass in her own right.
Because she's now the driver, because the other driver died. So now she's the driver of the war rig.
Yep. That's how you get promotions in the Mad Max universe. There's the 40-year war is a montage. I mean, it's 40-day war.
40-day war. There's like a nice little voiceover that's very similar to like War Never Changes at the start of Fallout. It's almost exactly that speech, but now it's talking about just another war that happens in the post-apocalypse. And then we cut to the end of that war when Dementus is on the run and like he's down to like maybe like 5 of his guys. And Scrotus is like hot on his tail.
Yeah. Scrotus is on his tail. Furiosa steals
Scrotus's car. And goes after him. He loses like all of his people in the pursuit. And there's like a really long scene, because essentially this movie is a revenge movie on top of everything else. And there's just like this really long scene of her confronting him in the desert and having complete control of the situation.
Just those two, like he's struggling, he's injured, he still tries to fight back a little, but like and she wants him to remember her.
Yes.
Like to show that like this can't mean nothing to you kind of deal.
Yeah.
You know?
But it's like she gets to this point where she has him at her mercy, and she's like, it's like, what do you even want to get from this? And he knows that. Like, he's like, I'm in the same boat as you. I lost everyone too. I want revenge too, but you're never going to, it's nothing you do is going to bring them back.
Yeah, nothing's going.
So he's like, you can do whatever you want to me. Like, I can't stop you, but literally nothing that you do is going to get what you want at all.
And he's not wrong.
Yeah, he's 100% right.
Honestly, all of his takes are like pretty on point in this movie.
Yeah,
not gonna
he's
lie.
like completely like reasonable way to go in the Mad Max world.
Yeah,
it's just not like a very righteous one.
Exactly.
But yeah, no, I think that scene drags a little bit. I think a couple of, because they kind of end up repeating themselves just a bit.
Yeah, no, this is another part. Like, I feel like it's not necessarily whole sections that you could cut out of this movie. I feel like just like little bits here and there.
Yeah.
Like of each of the sequences.
Yeah, just shave a few scenes back.
Yeah, no, like it wouldn't take too much. It's a little bit.
And we're also judging this against Fury Road too.
Yeah, that's Fury Road.
I think
like,
that's affecting our judgment.
The most lean movie of all time.
Yeah, that movie has no fat at all.
Yeah, that movie. Yeah, no, that movie is like
except for like maybe like 1 or 2 parts.
Yeah, the blue scene.
Yeah, the blue. When everything's blue, that's always when I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go to the bathroom.
Yeah, no, the blue scene's like, all right, time to take a break. Like, well, and it's literally in the direct middle of the movie, and it's like the only break.
Yeah. Yeah, but like there's a few scenes like that where it's like you could just shave a little bit off.
Mm-hmm.
But that scene is very satisfying, and like we said, it ends with 3 possible ways that she dealt with him, and you can just take your pick because it's just a story anyway. It's just a legend.
Exactly. Yeah, no. Then the movie ends with her. The movie ends with her going into the wife chamber, and we see the 5 wives.
Yep.
You can't really see their faces in detail.
And she secrets them away into the tank of the war rig, and we're like, oh shit, we're at the beginning of Fury Road.
We're about to go Fury Road.
And then they show the credits are clips of Fury Road.
Yeah, which I don't know how I felt about that, because I was like, oh, don't.
It looked very different.
Yeah, no, it is like a very different.
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny
the
how
color grading is different. Yeah,
you really just see how George Miller has evolved with like.
Oh yeah, good for him.
You know, like you can tell, like he's really paid attention to just how filmmaking has evolved into like what he wants these movies to be. You know.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, and then that's Furiosa. Go see it.
Yes. Yeah.
Support.
Oh, we didn't go into the 3 options of how.
Oh yeah, it was like
one was he just shot him in the back of the head. The other was
she
tortures him to death. And the third, and my preferred ending, is she plants this seed that she was given at the beginning of the movie by her mother.
On his dick.
She plants it inside of him, and the tree grows, consuming him
from his dick.
In the Citadel. I don't know if we see that tree in
We
Fury
do.
Road. If we did, it would have been cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are it is growing out of his dick too, which is pretty funny. I think they just did that for like censorship reasons, but it's also pretty funny that it's growing out of his dick.
Well, no, I think it's also just to show like everything is so sexually oriented. It's like demasculate him kind of deal.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
But yeah, no, that's my preferred ending as well. Like that's what I like to think.
Yeah.
But yeah, no.
See the movie.
Yeah, Furiosa.
Play the game too.
Play the game.
The game is good. I know George Miller does not really want Avalanche to make another Mad Max game. I don't know if there is going to be another Mad Max game. He said he'd prefer if Hideo Kojima made a Mad Max game. That's never going to happen in a billion years, nor would I want it to.
It would just be a long-form Mad Max movie.
Yeah, it probably wouldn't.
So
I probably wouldn't enjoy it.
My question to you, Joseph.
Yeah.
Is what is next for the Mad Max cinematic universe?
Hopefully nothing.
Like if
me.
Yeah, no, I do know you. But as far as like if there was a story you'd like to see
that
done
guy is
well,
almost 80 years old.
Oh well, actually, you know that also brings me to another good question. If anybody else was gonna direct or do a Mad Max thing, what would it be? You know what your worst fucking nightmare would be? Mad Max, the TV show.
Yeah, that would fucking suck.
From the creators of Fallout.
I've never seen Fallout.
Yo, it'd be like The Adventures of Young Furiosa or some shit.
The Adventures of Young Max.
They'd have Liam Hemsworth playing the TV version of Dementis.
Perfect. No, they would probably get Michael Bay or something, and it would fucking suck.
Yeah.
Honestly, if you had a different writer, Zack Snyder. And listen, I'm not like a Zack Snyder fan, but this is like his kind of movie.
It is his cup of tea.
Yeah,
it's true.
I think.
You ready for a lot of slow motion explosions?
Yeah, I mean, it would definitely be different. But if I'm gonna pick an action director to make like a spectacle movie, like a Mad Max, like a modern Mad Max movie, it probably would be him. How about you?
That's a good pick.
Maybe the guys who did Crank.
I was about to say my first pick was Neville Dean and Taylor.
Yeah, there you go.
They did Crank.
That's a really good pick.
I feel like, I really want to rewatch actually not rewatch. So I haven't seen Ghost Rider: Spirit of Vengeance, which they directed.
Yeah,
that one.
I have seen that, and you know it's pretty fun.
Yeah,
it's like exactly the kind of kinetic energy that you want.
Yeah, I've only seen the first Ghost Rider, but I feel like the second one, it's out in the desert. I feel like
the first one sucks. The second one's fun.
Yeah. Your cat is sniffing my toe.
He does that.
Sorry. Or is he a toe biter?
No.
Okay, cool. But I'm trying to think who else would. I'm trying not to say Guillermo. Actually, I don't think Del Toro would.
No, I wouldn't want to see that.
Would work with this.
Yeah, just like any kind of like crazy coked up action director who isn't Michael Bay. I fucking hate Michael Bay.
Like High Octane. Oh no, she's fucking with the wires.
I don't think he's gonna chew. I think he's just rubbing.
Okay. Yeah, no. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like our picks, Neville Dean and Taylor, and
Zack Snyder.
Zack Snyder would be a really interesting choice. Come on, get out of there. Oh my goodness. Okay, so yeah, now this one can be easy or hard depending on your perspective. What prop are you taking from this movie?
Listen,
I
feel like I'm gonna like get like a reputation as a gun guy. But the fucking revolver she has at the end. Listen, I'm not a gun guy. I don't own a gun. I want that prop revolver though, because it looks fucking cool. Have you ever seen that game Ion Maiden?
Mm-hmm.
It looks like I think it's called like the Lady Killer or something like that. Loverboy. It looks like that revolver where it's like a regular like Colt 45 just plus like everything is just added on to.
Mm-hmm.
But also I can't really think of like a bunch of props aside from like the cars. And if I get to pick a car, I'm picking the War Rig.
That's a big prop to hold on to.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
Just live inside of it.
One of the immediate things I thought was Furiosa's goggles.
That's pretty good.
I really like her
That's
goggles.
That's a good pick. Yeah. Her prosthetic arm.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what else. I like the organic mechanics, like a little like tool vest.
Yeah.
That would just be useful for work.
You just use it.
Just to have, yeah. I'm trying to think what else. You know, like a lot of good production stuff. I would say Furiosa's arm seems like it's mostly CG in this movie.
Yeah.
Whereas in the first one, it was mostly practical.
Yeah, she kind of threw it together in 5 minutes, and it was like, oh, all right.
You know what?
I guess she just made it.
Of all of the like I said, we were just talking about like when prequel shit is disappointing. That's probably the one that was the most disappointing. How she lost the arm, great.
Yeah.
How she got her robot arm,
she just made it.
Yeah. I know a lot of people want an Old Man Max movie.
I'm good.
I was talking to oh, that was another thing. Wait, I don't
know if we're gonna get another Mad Max movie, dude.
There's
2 in the row that failed.
We should have talked. Yeah, it's true. We should have talked about this at the beginning of the show. But something I wanted to bring up about why I think this movie is failing as hard as it is. So there are definitely a solid chunk of people out there who didn't like Fury Road when it came out.
Yeah.
Because they're like, what is this? Like, women are taking Mad Max.
Oh.
Like, oh, it's feminism road, like type of deal.
That was peak 2015 Gamergate bullshit.
And I completely forgot that there was that, and there definitely was that response. And the reason why I was thinking about it is because recently I was talking to. There is a certain conservative coworker of ours that I'm not going to name. There is a conservative older coworker of ours.
Pick one.
Doesn't really matter. And I was telling him how I was looking forward to seeing Furiosa, and he's like, "Oh, I'm not going to see that woke shit."
What? In what? What are you talking about?
Just
literally, if anyone black or woman is cast in a movie,
pretty
at this
much.
Point, It's like, ugh, wokeness gone
He's
mad.
Like, I want to see a movie about Max. Why don't they bring Mel Gibson? Like,
it's
literally,
like, God damn, do you know,
like,
we still have movies where white guys are the lead. Like, we still have that.
There's still
Why don't we
plenty.
just have other movies? Like,
Yeah.
that shit does make me irrationally angry.
Yeah.
Like, literally, anytime a movie or a game is announced that has, like, a black protagonist, it's like, oh,
Yeah.
I hate this. And it's like, why? Oh, 'cause woke. I'm not racist, though. Shit drives me insane. Anyway, that's my, like, little mini rant about fucking this bullshit.
What I was saying, I think that could potentially be, like, a little bit of a factor as to why this movie isn't succeeding, because people are like, oh, I don't want to see the girl Mad Max movie.
Go woke, go broke. You know what I mean?
Furiosa, more like Barbiosa.
Furiosa, more like feminism.
Feminosa.
This movie is so macho too. Like I don't get it. Man,
Yeah, no.
fuck those people.
Yeah.
If you're one of those people, please reevaluate your stances on things.
If you're one of those people, unfollow this podcast. Please. I want more followers, but I don't want you.
Yeah, can you please think about maybe why you're upset seeing a black person or a woman in a movie? Like that, not just because like. Oh, they changed something. Think about why you're mad they changed that.
Yeah.
That. Just think about why.
Do some self-reflection.
And not just because it's woke. Think beyond that, please.
Yeah. Go further.
Things got angry here at the end.
No, it's fine. No, I dig it. I'm about it. But yeah, no, that there is much more to say about Furiosa. I'm trying to think, what are we going to talk about next?
I don't know.
Yeah, we don't have anything. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that's new that we could put on the docket. We have our new movie. We can go back to some old shit now.
There's other new stuff.
I'm trying to think of, we might do a Deadpool episode depending on, that comes out next month. There was something coming out this month that I was really looking forward to, and I can't remember.
Something. We'll think about it.
Yeah,
we'll figure it out.
If Deadpool ends up being the true roast of the MCU that I want it to be, we might do an episode on it.
And if it is, I'll watch it.
Yeah.
But if it's just another superhero movie, I'm good.
Yeah, I'd say we got the classic Universal Monsters box set.
That's true. We've got the Van Helsing LXG ep that I suggested.
True. Yeah, we'll watch some of those, and then we'll do and then we'll do League of Extraordinary Gentlemen / Van Helsing.
Honestly, I watched Van Helsing little sneak peek for that. I watched Van Helsing again like somewhat recently. That movie fucking holds up. I don't know why that movie failed. Like, it's got problems, but it's like entertaining. It's thoroughly entertaining. And the production design's really cool too. Anyway, whatever. We'll probably talk about it at some point.
Excited to revisit it.
Yeah.
But thank you for listening to Midnight Movie Gang. This is one of our earlier records. It's 5:01 p.m. Night Movie Gang.
It's midnight somewhere.
Yeah, it's midnight somewhere. Have a nice night.
Night. Bye. Love you.
Bye.
So, here we go. With childish frustrations and complexes which the police are searching for James Thomas, believed to be the lover of Mrs. Williams, and her partner in the horrible murder of Walter. Where's everybody that out here? They've all gone. Oh, please tell me where they've gone. Please tell me. Sorry, I don't know. How long is it? Mile and a half? Look what I got in here. 3 tickets to Albany on 6 o'clock train tonight. What do you think? Special agent.